And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you fight misogyny, by being very funny.
So, Pops, you're a black man.
I am.
Because of you, I'm a black man.
More or less.
So, half and half. So,
No, that's milk.
if I painted my face black, would that be blackface? And if it was blackface being a hate crime, would that be a black-on-black crime?
No. Let me tell you why.
Why?
If you painted your face black, it would be the completion of a process, and it would be disrespectful to your mother, for you would be eliminating her.
It's not my fault you ran out of toner when I was born.
Well,
You koala printer?
perhaps we should have tried a different position.
Wow!
Pops takes another dub.
And that's how you fight racism, by being funny.
Man, you got to watch what you say when you say it. Because this is what I'm saying. Because you don't know who speaks Spanish. Yo soy cubano, ¿me entiendes? Pero yo soy cubano. Y cuando habla la gente negra, tú hablas de mí también.
I was just saying.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you need to watch what you say.
I was just saying.
Okay, I'm just letting you know though. When you talk about people, especially black people, man, watch what you're saying. I ain't recording you. I'm recording myself. I'm recording you now. So, you know what, that's what I'm saying. They be talking that shit Spanish, thinking people don't understand their ass. Yo soy cubano. Cuando hablan la mierda de negro, tú hablas de mí también.
And that is how you fight racism, by learning a new language.
You ever said the N-word before?
Of course. Yes, I have.
And how did you say it?
How do I say it?
Yeah.
Like my boys back at home in California. What's up?
Say what's up.
Wait, no, here you go. Watch it. Bam. Bam.
Okay.
Top, no. Top.
Damn. Okay.
West Coast.
Hey.
And that is how you fight racism, segregation, DEI, inequality, by making things inclusive. The fact that he did that world handshake, bam, 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 bash. We do that on Curacao, Caribbean island. I'm actually surprised they know that in California. Yo, inclusivity. And also, I'm not condoning for you to do that. I'm just saying, I'm not surprised certain people can say it because they live around the culture and between their friends, they have a boundary that is respected because they respect the boundary. This guy would never go ninja, 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 ninja. That makes no sense.
The shit's gonna hit the fan. Yeah.
The man who was seen ramming a parked Tesla Cybertruck on four-wheeler has been identified as 33-year-old something gangster Cox. This was not the only Tesla allegedly rammed. Police say that they started receiving reports of an extremely obese man ramming into parked Tesla. As the reports came in, one officer spotted Cox before questioning him. Cox gave a fake name before the officers took him into custody. Nice try. According to the police by the Beam Boom Dash in Texas, Cox currently has a single felony for criminal mischief and failure to identify.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
And that's how you fight democracy.
Because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Not only do I find it hilarious that she called him Governor Hot Wheels, I hope that he gets a flat tire.
And that's how you fight unity, because you're normalizing this. I find it a little odd because you're the party of empathy that generally cares about protective classes.
Former senior business editor for NPR.
How long do you work at NPR?
I believe he was there just over 25 years.
25 years? Award-winning journalist? Did he win any awards?
Our time to
Peabody Award? That's pretty important, isn't it?
That is, absolutely.
So pretty distinguished journalist, right?
Certainly.
And he wrote a long story about what you do at NPR. Is NPR biased?
Congressman, I have never seen any instance of
Never?
Of political bias determining editorial decisions, no.
Well, Mr. Berliner, in his story last year, wrote, in the D.C. area, editorial positions at NPR, he said he found 87 registered Democrats, 0 Republicans. Is that accurate?
We do not track the numbers or the voter registration, but I find that
Was award-winning journalist who worked 25 years at NPR, Mr. Berliner, was he lying when he wrote that?
I am not presuming such. I just we don't track that information about our journalists.
87 to 0, and you're not biased?
I think that is concerning if those numbers are accurate.
It's concerning. I mean, it wasn't 44-43. It wasn't 60-27. It wasn't 70-17. It wasn't even 80-7. It was 87 Democrats, 0 Republicans, and you say NPR is not biased.
In your opinion. In your opinion.
I'm just saying, you can't say you're on the middle ground when most people support everything you want to do.
How about the big stories over the last few years? According to Mr. Berliner, again, he wrote on the Trump-Russia story, he wrote, at NPR, we hitched our wagon to Trump's most visible antagonist, Representative Adam Schiff. He said they interviewed him 25 times. Is that accurate?
I was not there at the time, but those numbers sound accurate. Yeah.
Those sound accurate. But then he said when the Mueller report came out and Robert Mueller said he found no evidence of collusion, he said, Russiagate faded from our programming. Is that accurate?
Again, I was not there at the time. I couldn't say.
They subpoena you to come defend your case in a company, and the main things that you have to defend against, your response is, I was never the boss at that time. I'm like, why the heck did you come defend the company then?
You couldn't say?
I was not at NPR at the time.
You didn't prepare for that? You knew we were going to ask you about this guy, didn't you? It's come up like 6,000 times already in the hearing.
I just couldn't say whether it faded from our coverage, sir.
How about this story? October 2020, the New York Post had the Hunter Biden laptop story, and one of those editors, I guess one of those 87 Democrat editors, said this: we don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. We don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' times on stories that are just pure distractions. Was that a pure distraction story?
Our current editorial leadership believes that that was a mistake, as do I.
Lies, lies, lies.
You admit it was wrong, you believe you are not biased, but you still want to keep 87 something and a few little here and be like, hey, we're not biased. I'm like, okay, we're not that stupid.
The election. How about the COVID origin story? That's a pretty big story too, right? Mr. Berliner said, we became fervent members of the team Natural Origin, even declaring that the lab leak was debunked by scientists. Turns out, though, the lab leak is what most people think actually caused the COVID virus.
Sorry, is there a question there?
There is. You guys were 0 for 3 on the three of the biggest stories in the last 5 years. You guys were 0 for 3, and yet you maintain that NPR is not biased?
Congressman, I do not believe we are politically biased. No, we are a nonpartisan organization.
Nonpartisan organization.
I would say this. I like merit. And if I find out you lied or you covered something just because you think you're right, like the Hunter Biden laptop thing, why should the tax dollars still fund your company? When you have way more Democrats working for you and you failed and you're not doing any changes to prove to me that you're not really that biased.
It's interesting because a lot of your thinking, as expressed by your public statements, is deeply infused with economic and cultural Marxism. Do you believe that America is addicted to white supremacy?
I believe that I tweeted that, and as I've said earlier, I believe much of my thinking has evolved over the last half decade.
It has evolved. Why did you tweet that?
I don't recall the exact context, sir, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay. Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and white democracy?
I don't believe that, sir.
You tweeted that in reference to a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
You tweeted about it. You said you took a day off to fully read The Case for Reparations. You put that on Twitter in January of 2020.
Apologies, I don't recall that I did.
Okay.
I'd no doubt that your tweet there is correct, but I don't recall that.
Okay.
That is, I don't know. If I would see that face and somebody said, I didn't cheat, I was just drunk and we were hanging out, and you have that face, I don't know. My spider sense is tingling, you know?
Do you believe that white people inherently feel superior to other races?
I do not.
You don't? You tweeted something to that effect. You said, I grew up feeling superior. Ha, how white of me. Why did you tweet that?
I think I was probably reflecting on what it was to grow up in an environment where I had lots of advantages.
It sounds like you're saying that white people feel superior.
I don't believe that anybody feels that way, sir. I was just reflecting on my own experiences.
Do you think that white people should pay reparations?
I've never said that, sir.
Yes, you did. You said it in January of 2020. You tweeted, "Yes, the North. Yes, all of us. Yes, America. Yes, our original collective sin and unpaid debt. Yes, reparations. Yes, on this day."
I don't believe that was a reference to fiscal reparations, sir.
What kind of reparations was it a reference to?
I think it was just a reference to the idea that we all owe much to the people who came before us.
That's a bizarre way to frame what you tweeted.
I'm not going around calling people asshole and say, well, when you were saying, oh, your face looked like one. Like, it's like, dude, like, what else can it mean? Reparation? Or the money that I have to give the government back. I meant taxes. I'm like, bruh, come on, man.
Okay, how much reparations have you personally paid?
Sir, I don't believe that I've ever paid reparations.
Okay, it's just for everybody else.
I'm not asking anyone
Seems
to pay
to be what you're
reparations, sir.
suggesting. Do you believe that looting is morally wrong?
I believe that looting is illegal, and I refer to it as counterproductive. I think it should be prosecuted.
Do you believe it's morally wrong, though?
Of course.
Of course. Then why did you refer to it as counterproductive? It's a very different way to describe it.
It is both morally wrong and counterproductive, as well as being
You
illegal.
tweeted, "It's hard to be mad about protests," in reference to the BLM protests, not prioritizing the private property of a system of oppression. You didn't condemn the looting. You said that it was counterproductive. NPR also promoted a book called In Defense of Looting. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
I'm unfamiliar with that book, sir, and I don't believe that was at my time
You
at
tweeted
NPR.
that you read that book, but...
I don't believe that I did read that book.
Ay.
Stop. Seriously. Stop.
Maybe she just tweeted for moral points. It might be possible. Take it in consideration. But the idea is that everything you might have tweeted that you don't remember, it seems very left, but you're not biased, and everybody working under you is there with you. I'm like, why can't you not stop lying?
Book, sir. I believe that was at my
You
time at
tweeted
NPR.
that you read that book, but...
I don't believe that I did read that book, sir.
Do you think that a few years ago, NPR educated America about, quote, the whole community of genderqueer dinosaur enthusiasts? Do you think that that's an appropriate use of tax dollars?
I was not at NPR at the time, sir.
That's not the question, though. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of our tax dollars?
I think our tax dollars that we use are to be able to provide a wide range of
I'll take that as a yes. You do believe that that's appropriate. Your health advisor at NPR also stated in an interview that, quote, fear of fatness is more harmful than actual fat. Would you like to explain how fear of fatness is more harmful than actual fat? That's an editorial at NPR.
I am not familiar with the editorial, and I don't believe that was published during my time here.
It's called Diet Culture is Everywhere. Here's how to fight it. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
I think any reporting on health is an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars, yes.
And you think that editorializing that fat is not unhealthy is appropriate?
I don't know what that article is, sir, and I'm not familiar with it, so I couldn't say.
This is fake news.
That's the thing I find odd. I never voted for that, but I want to give them the possibility to vote for exactly the thing that I don't know about. And I'm like, if that is true, and every time they vote for something or the article has a specific title, and it is related to your side only, there comes a point I'm like, you want to let a bully do whatever they want to do and tell me they're not bullying, but if they did, I wasn't the mother at the time. Like, bruh, it's frustrating.
Do you think that basic accommodations like doorways or seatbelts represent, quote, latent fat phobia?
I don't have an opinion.
It's also from NPR. Do you think civility is racist?
No, sir.
No. Your outlet ran an article entitled, quote, when civility is used as a cudgel against people of color. That was on All Things Considered. Would you like to explain?
I'm not on the editorial side, sir. I'm not familiar with that story.
You talk about how NPR is news. This is editorialization, and I'll read it. For many people of color in the United States, civility isn't so much social lubricant as it is a vehicle for containing them, preventing social mobility, and preserving the status quo. This is garbage. I'll spend all of my time doing everything I can to ensure you guys never get another dollar of taxpayer funding. This is complete garbage. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, NPR is getting federal money, taxpayers' money to survive, labeling, creating, editing articles that generally only supports the left-leaning side. And when you ask any person that is new there, hey, I wasn't the boss back then, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, but we are not biased. Give me your taxpayers' money. But if I say no, shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam jam, turloqueta, verdetta, welcome.